In Age of Ultron number 5, we find the remaining Avengers trekking through the Savage Land. They are looking for Nick Fury's secret bunker so they can continue their quest to take down Ultron. Sue Storm finds an entrance hidden in a cave. When Red Hulk punches down the door, he gets burned in the face. Lo and behold, we find Nick Fury is still alive. After chiding everyone for taking so long to find him, he fills them in on his plan. Of the many powerful devices in his bunker, he has a doomed time platform. They will time travel into the future and take down Ultron. This will in turn set things right in the present. After getting some volunteers, everyone arms themselves with some of Nick Fury's gadgets. Iron Man finds one of his old suits, and Red Hulk picks up an axe that belonged to Ares. Fury and his team portal into the future to confront Ultron. After they leave, Wolverine asks Hawkeye to fire up the platform again. He wants to go back in time and kill Hank Pym, which will mean that Ultron will never be created. In his opinion, Fury and his team will fail, and Wolverine is not going to let Ultron win.
Oh man, I'm so excited for these two plans just because Wolverine's going to be back in time while all the other guys are in the future. And, you know, I'm just like imagining if Wolverine changes something, if that's going to change something in the future, or, you know, if he kills someone back there, are they just lost?
I don't think it'll be easy for Wolverine to just go back and kill Hank Pym, because I'm sure Ultron has thought of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to cover all his bases. But I did think it was kind of funny that after Nick Fury leaves, the person Wolverine turns to, he says, "Hey Hawkeye, can you turn this Doom Time platform on again?" Which kind of surprised me because Hawkeye's the smart guy left. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I guess, you know, when you lose so many smart guys, you turn to what's available.
Peter Parker was right there, though. Or Doc Ock.
Maybe he'll be the one to actually turn it on, because he seems to be the type of guy that'd be like, hey, you need to do what needs to be done. It doesn't matter what happens.
But I also think that Hawkeye wouldn't be on board with going back to kill Hank Pym. They really set Hawkeye up kind of as like the only hero left. He was the only one willing to go save Spider-Man when he was captured.
That's very true.
Another big part of Wolverine's plan that I found interesting is he just assumes Nick Fury's going to fail, which I kind of think is actually a rational assumption. You know, going against Ultron is no easy task, let alone with like 6 heroes.
It's very true that they might very well be walking right into a trap. If Ultron has planned this out like he clearly has, then he probably has, like you said, he's set up something in the past and he's probably set up something in the future. Just because Nick Fury can survive now doesn't mean he can survive in the future as well, you know?
Another big plot point with both Wolverine's plan and kind of just the Age of Ultron storyline in general is when it comes down to Hank Pym, whether or not to kill him, is that morally right or not?
I don't know about morally right or wrong. In the beginning of this issue, we have the scene where Reed, Tony, and Hank Pym are sort of standing over the body of Vision. They're discussing how Hank has thought about going in the past and not even, you know, what if he had never created Ultron? And they talk about how there's going to be a butterfly effect. If Ultron wasn't created, Vision wouldn't have been created. And if Vision wouldn't have been created, they talk about, you know, all the good things he's done as an Avenger. How would that have all played out? And so it's not necessarily about killing, it's about what effect it would have on the time string.
So we saw a bit of Tony Stark this issue, and he seemed to be going into a downward spiral. He seems a little depressed. What did you think?
I think seeing what the situation is like, his depression and kind of like where he puts the blame, it's kind of fitting, because he should have realized in the very beginning of the issue where they're showing how Vision came back, how Vision just all of a sudden just seems to gain consciousness. They don't really do anything, and they just take it for granted. It's like, hey, he's back, sure, that's great. And I can see why he sort of blames himself for not seeing the signs earlier, that, you know, Ultron did create Vision, and they did invite him in with open arms. They did give him all this benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he really now just sees Vision as like a long-term sleeper agent, which is a little depressing. I felt Stark's depression also kind of comes from the fact that Ultron was created by science, and as a man of science, science has now failed him and led to his destruction.
That's a very good philosophical way to look at it. It's interesting that not only do they create Ultron, they kind of create the framework for Ultron. Ultron sort of creates himself. It's like evolution in process and science, how you create an idea and it just grows. And that's what Ultron really is. He just keeps going more and more towards perfection.
The other big reveal in this issue is that Nick Fury is still alive and kicking, which is pretty exciting because if there's one guy you want in a crisis, it's him. What do you think of Nick?
The coolest thing about him was that immediately he takes over leadership. Everyone steps into his room. He starts calling the shots.
And it wasn't even like he stole the role of leadership. It just defaulted to him.
And it just shows how much more of a tactical leader he is than Captain America at times. Captain America just sort of gets them there and he like takes care of them in the field. But when it comes to the big plans, Nick Fury's got it covered.
I really liked his bunker. It was just so cool how much stuff he had in there. Not only did he have a Doom time platform, but he had like an ultimate nullifier, a whole armory.
It was crazy. He gives Red Hulk Ares' axe. I mean, he's got that there specifically. He's got Spider-Man's web shooters.
He's got an Iron Man suit. The guy is prepped. The part I liked about him being alive maybe the most was the fact that everybody, including myself, assumed he was dead. And just, I feel kind of bad that I doubted him.
It's very true. Like, when we talked about, like, who's there out there? We talked about, like, where's T'Challa in the first issue? Where are all the other people? We never threw out, where's Nick Fury? And we learned in this issue that he showed up here, like, instantly. He knew shit was going down with the time stream, and he shows up instantly in this place. I've been waiting there for a week.
And he's like, what took you guys so long? So this is a grade for Age of Ultron number 5. What would you give it?
I'd give this issue a 4 out of 5. Last issue I complained about how the pace had been going really slow, and so I'm really happy that something is finally happening. I'm really excited to see how these two plans are going to carry out, what impact it's going to have on the time stream.
This was definitely the best issue so far. I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5. And adding Nick Fury really just made this a worthwhile read.
Thanks for watching B3 Comics' review of Age of Ultron Book 5. Before we go, we have a question for you.
So in this issue, we're presented with 2 plans, Nick Fury's and Wolverine's. Which do you think is more viable?
Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and like always, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, and please tell your friends.